I was standing in front of the mirror and looking at myself. I was wearing a red short frock which was looking very good on my well-shaped body. My complexion was milky and my hair was open till below my waist, which was spread on my back like a waterfall. I had made my eyes even more beautiful with kajal. With pink lipstick on my lips, I was looking at myself and warding off the evil eye. God had made me very beautiful. I ruled the hearts of so many boys and so many were waiting for my yes, but I did not give lift to anyone. There was only one prince of my heart who ruled my heart. I looked at myself in the mirror once again. There was no shortage but I was very nervous. I did not know how I should behave today, what work I should do there. My heart was very nervous. Only a few moments had passed when suddenly the door of the room opened and my mother entered the room. Seeing her brought a smile to my face. I always got comfort from my mother. She smiled at me with moist eyes and came close to me and kissed my forehead. Looking at me she said, "I feel proud that you are my daughter. I did not know that you will make my name shine like this. You know, when you were born I cried in agony that why did you give me a daughter? I wish I had a son and the reason was not that I hated daughters and sons were more dear, but the reason was that I was afraid of the fate of daughters. My mother's fate was very dark. My mother had suffered a lot and my mother used to say that God, please never give me a daughter. Because only sorrows are written in the destiny of his daughters. My mother used to wish looking at me that my fate should not be like my mother's and indeed my fate was very dark. My mother said that she was only 16 years old when she was tortured and at that time my mother prayed that God why have you made us daughters so helpless and powerless? And at that time my father supported my mother and married her. But my mother was still afraid of daughters. My mother used to cry and pray to God that God please give me a son, not a daughter. My mother said that when you came into my lap, I made myself strong. I raised you in such a way that no one could even look at you. My daughter, never break my pride, my honor, my trust, protect yourself and always keep your eyes open. Because society is a society of wolves where we easily become their prey and I have full faith in my daughter that she will keep my word." Saying this, my mother kissed my forehead. And I already knew about my mother's past. My mother never hid anything from me. I was very sad about what had happened to my mother. Even at this time, my heart was filled with sorrow after hearing my mother's words. Tears rolled down my eyes unconsciously. These words hold a lot of importance for a girl. No one can understand the pain when a son is prayed for in front of a daughter, only that daughter knows how she bears the pain. I unconsciously hugged my mother. I felt relieved as soon as I felt her touch. He applied a black mark to protect her from the tree and said, "Now come out quickly, your father is waiting, he has been sitting there for a long time." He said, "I will have breakfast with my daughter today. Today is her first day. I do not want to send her nervous in any way." I said, "Mummy, I am feeling very nervous. I do not understand how I will handle everything after going there." My mother gave me courage and said, "You are a brave girl. You have always faced every situation. So there is no need to be worried even today. If Bholenath blesses you, you will return successful." I felt a lot of relief after listening to my mother and I quickly completed the last preparations and came out of the room with her. My father was waiting for me sitting in the living room. Seeing me coming, he also stood up and welcomed me and kissed my forehead lovingly. On receiving my father's love, I felt like crying once again, but this time my mother laughed and said, "Hey girl, if you cry so much then your makeup will get ruined, you have to leave for office now, be quiet, I will prepare breakfast." Saying this, she went towards the kitchen while my father made me sit with him and said lovingly, "Tina Beta, we have trusted you more than ourselves. We are proud that you are our daughter. We proudly say in the whole family that you are our daughter, you are our blood. I just have a small request to you." He was speaking in a very loving manner. I looked at him with questioning eyes. He said looking at me, "Gudiya, don't feel bad about what we say, but we have a small request to you, always take care of our respect, never give us a chance to complain. Anyway, the family members make a lot of stories about you. They said, we have made a big mistake by giving you freedom, but my daughter, we don't want to hear this from anyone else again. I immediately held my father's hand and assured him, Papa, I will die, but I will never let your honor be tarnished. You don't worry. After some time, the three of us, father, daughter and mother, were sitting at the breakfast table. I was getting late, but I did not break my parents' heart in any way and had the entire breakfast with them. Then immediately left for the office. I was nervous even on the way. I was constantly praying to my God that all the work should be done well and my first day in the office should go well, but it is said that sometimes the prayers are answered in a different way, and something similar was going to happen with me which I had not anticipated. As soon as I entered the company building, my heart started racing like an unbridled horse, but I controlled myself. Today was my first day in the office, my palms were getting wet. And I was not able to understand what I would do today and how I would manage all the work, but I was not one to lose courage so easily. My mother had made me very strong. I was 25 years old, but in these 25 years I had gained so much experience that I could recognize a good person and a bad person. I had done many jobs before this too, but this was my first experience in such a big office, so I was a little scared. I went straight to the manager. He told me my table, etc. I was made the assistant of the boss's secretary. I had to help him at any cost. I was fully prepared for this work. Just a while ago, a man had given me a file, whose data I had to transfer to the computer. I was busy with my work. It must have been a while when I heard the sound of a child crying behind me. That child was crying. I don't know what had happened to him, and the presence of a child in the office had surprised me, and anyway children have always been my weakness. I always hugged my cousins and even my neighbors' children, and the crying of this stranger child also made me restless. I immediately got up from my place and reached the same direction from where the sound of the child's crying was coming. A middle-aged woman was having trouble handling a small newborn girl, but that child was crying continuously. I took the child from that woman and started patting him after holding him to my chest for a while. One of his hands was badly twisted, and because of this he was crying in pain. That woman had wrapped him in a blanket and it was very hot. I looked at that woman angrily and said, "When you don't know how to handle a child, then why did you hold him? You have wrapped him in a blanket in this heat. Do you want the child to die?" My voice suddenly became louder. 4 more people started looking at me. That woman immediately mumbled and said, "I did not know, I thought this is happening, the child might catch cold." I looked at that woman in surprise and shook my head regretfully. I kept the child close to my chest. He was a very cute, very innocent child, about 3-4 months old. After a while, the child fell asleep as soon as he came in my lap. I comfortably gave him in the hands of that woman and came back to my place and sat down. Since it was the first day, I did not talk much to anyone, and I was a girl who mostly kept to myself. I did not like to speak much, but I was completely unaware of the consequences of what I did today, that my little sympathy today was going to change my whole life. After some time, the manager Sahab was standing at my table. I immediately stood up from my place in respect for him. He looked at me and said, "The boss is calling you to his room, just pray that you have not made any mistake." Before today, he had never called any employee, and especially such an ordinary employee, to his office, and on hearing this, a shiver ran through my body. No matter how strong I was for the world, but from inside I was a delicate girl who would get scared even on hearing a little scolding. I looked at the manager and said fearfully, "I have not done anything, I was doing my work for so long." He just blessed me and went away. Before coming to this office, I had collected some information about this place, and everyone had said that the owner here is very beautiful to look at. His personality is so impressive that girls fall for him, but when he speaks, people pray to avoid him. He is a very short-tempered person. He gets angry very quickly and he ruins the respect of the person in front of him. My self-respect has always been important to me. I took a deep breath and reached his cabin, knocked lightly, and immediately a serious voice came from inside. "Come inside," and my heart trembled. I opened the door fearfully and stepped inside. That person was sitting in front of him with his full Ritu, who could beat Rajkumar. I slowly said hello to him and stood in front of his table with my head bowed. There was silence in the room. I thought that his personal secretary would be in the room, but there was no one there, which made me even more nervous. "Miss Tina, welcome. How was your day?" He was speaking in such a friendly tone that I was surprised. I was shocked and looked at him as much as I knew about him. This man was completely opposite to him. I was told that this man is very stubborn and short-tempered, but he was talking to me very politely. I stuttered and said, "Yes, I am doing well." Then he said, "Please sit comfortably, I want to talk to you about something important, I hope you will try to understand me." I quietly sat in front of him. There was only silence between us for a long time. I thought he would finish his talk soon because such rich people do not waste much time, but he was not saying anything. He was just staring at me continuously. His continuous staring at me was making me restless. I did not know why I was called here. What mistake did I commit? Even after a long time when he did not say anything, I mustered up the courage to start talking. "Sir, I am sorry, I am being impudent to speak in front of you. But actually I was doing my work, why have you called me? Please tell me quickly." I mustered up the courage and spoke with great confidence. It was as if he had come back to his senses with my voice. He looked at me and said, "Actually I have to talk to you about something important. I do not understand how to start this, but I will not waste much time. My wife died 4 months ago. I have a small 4-month-old child and I am very worried about his care because there is no one in my house who can take care of my child, except my old grandmother. I do not understand what I should do. I cannot take care of him myself. These are women's jobs. God has created men for external responsibilities, but still, I try my best to fulfill my responsibilities. But I am not able to do this." I was surprised to hear him saying why he is telling me the problems of his house. But I thought it better to keep quiet. He further said, "My grandmother is repeatedly asking me to get married and I have clearly refused her that I cannot get married now because my first marriage was not so memorable for me. Why should I get into a mess like this marriage again? Even if I do not need a wife, my 4-month-old child needs a mother. Believe me, I do not lie and neither do I recommend anyone. But today when I saw you taking care of my child, I saw in you that woman who can take care of my child and give him motherly love. God has given me everything, I will not talk too much, I want to marry you." And after hearing this, I stood up from my place as if I was struck by an electric shock. I had not even imagined that he would say this to me. I was looking at him in surprise. My voice was stuck in my throat because of my interest. I was so angry that there was no limit. I was about to say something when he started explaining to me, "Look, I know you are an unmarried girl and you are engaged and are going to get married soon. You are doing this job for your interest, but look, if you choose me then it will prove to be very good for you. The girl you are getting married to, that boy is not so rich, he does a job of $500, he cannot give you the luxury that I can give." I knew he was luring me, but I was surprised that how did he know so much about me. He did not even take my interview. But then I forgot this because he was a businessman. He has his own ways. He can extract the complete biodata of anyone in 10 minutes, and if he wanted to marry me then why would he not investigate me? I immediately shook my head. Here only to do a job, not to take care of someone's child. I know that you will not like this and you will be hurt too, but I am with my fiancé and I wish to marry him. If you have to talk about something else, I will stay here, but apart from this I do not want to stay here." And suddenly he stood up from his place and turned around and came to me. Before I could say anything, he played a video in front of me in which my father was seen sitting in his office and working. I looked at that person in surprise. He looked at me and said, "If you do not give me consent, then your father will lose his job right now and it is a cakewalk for me to get your so-called fiancé's job terminated as well, and as far as I know, your mother is also a teacher in a show or so you would not want them to be humiliated and expelled from school." Tears welled up in my eyes. God knows what these rich people think of themselves. I felt like tearing this man's beautiful face and ruining it and telling him what a bad person he is. He further told me that you have 2 days and in these 2 days you have to decide what you want to do. It was not in my control to kill that man. He had brought me to such a point where there was a ditch on both sides. If I said yes, my whole life would be ruined, and if I said no, he would ruin my whole family. I was surprised at how ruthless he was. He was ruining my whole life for his child. I knew that he wanted to marry me only for his child, and he had also made it clear that there will be no relationship of husband and wife between us. You will only be the mother of my child and nothing else. I quietly came out of that office room, and after sitting there for a while I came straight home. I was not able to understand what I had done to myself. My father, my mother and my fiancé Sam had refused me this job so many times, saying that you do not need it. God has given me everything, but I was fond of doing the job, and this hobby of mine had become a noose around my neck. After thinking for a long time, I thought it better to say yes, because if I refused, many people's lives would be ruined because of me, and I did not want this at all. But I felt like crying a lot about how rich people take advantage of the helplessness of poor people. But I could not do anything entirely. The next day at around 10 p.m. I gave him my consent. I had not even thought that he would come to our house the very next day with his proposal. The very next day Mr. Martin was sitting with his grandmother in the lodge of our house, while my mother and father were looking with surprised eyes at the man who had just arrived in the comfort of our small house and was asking for my hand. My father wanted to tell him that my daughter's marriage has already been fixed, but my mother silenced my father and immediately said yes to this marriage. She was a traditional mother who wanted to give her daughter a happy life so that she does not face any problems. That is why she wanted to make an excuse for me to come to a rich house. The first time she had bowed down to my father's wish, but now when she was getting a chance, she did not miss it at all. Martin had already decided everything. He said that I have spoken to Pandit Ji. The auspicious time for marriage is this Friday. I do not want to take much time in marriage, I want to get married as soon as possible. Seeing the wish of her grandson, Martin's grandmother fixed the marriage on this Friday and left after saying a simple farewell. When my father objected to this, Martin explained to him that he will do the ritual of Mu Dikai at his home with pomp and show, and if he wants to call his relatives, he will not have any problem. My father became quiet. Days started flying by with wings. During this time, my fiancé Sam made my life hell by asking me why I did this when I was not even picking up his phone. I was afraid that if he said something wrong to me, how would I spend my whole life with this guilt? My marriage with Martin was simple. The dreams he had shown to my father that after the farewell, they would do a big ceremony of Mu Dikai at their home and invite all the guests, nothing like that happened. On the first night of the marriage, he put the baby in my lap and went to Dubai the next day because he had an important meeting there. I felt like crying a lot. I had seen many dreams about my marriage, but when all those dreams were shattered, my heart became completely empty. For a moment, I felt like throwing this child away from me because my life was ruined because of this child. If I had not shown mercy on him, then all this would not have happened today, but suddenly, my heart melted on seeing the face of that innocent child. After all, what was the fault of this child at that time? She did not even have a mother. I immediately hugged that child to my chest and loved her. After hugging her, I felt a sense of motherly love. I started considering that child as my own son, and started taking care of him with all my heart. My intention was not at all to win Martin's heart, rather I loved children since childhood. Time passes and today it had been a full month since I started taking care of this child. But Martin, who had gone to Dubai, did not even think it necessary to look back. My mother and father had asked me many times that the wedding was so simple, no guests could be invited. After all, when is the Mu Dikai ceremony happening? But I had no answer. How could I tell them that my husband is not at home, so what should I do? I just used to avoid them. My in-laws were very good people, especially my husband's grandmother. She was a very good woman. He never treated me like a daughter-in-law, but always treated me like his own granddaughter. Many times I felt as if someone was watching me in my room. Many times I tried to find the eyes that I felt. But I don't know where were those eyes that kept staring at me. Martin returned home after about 1.5 months. At that time I was sitting with Alistair near my grandmother. I had named his son too. Till now everyone used to call him Chotu baby. I was surprised to know why the 4-month-old child was not named. Everyone liked to name me. When Martin entered the house, it felt as if my heart stopped. Knowingly or unknowingly I started waiting for him. There was some magic in the wedding rounds that I had accepted him as my husband in my heart, but I did not want to express this in front of Martin because I was angry with him. Firstly, he had married me forcefully, and on top of that, he had left me on the first night of our marriage, and now when he came in front of me, my heart was beating faster. That man's personality was such that any girl could easily lose her heart to him. He bent down on the forehead of Alistair lying directly in my lap, and when his shoulder touched mine, a thrill ran through my body. The smell of expensive perfume coming from him started intoxicating me. My heart was beating out of control. I had forgotten to breathe after finding him so close, but soon I controlled myself. I did not want to show Martin that I was waiting for him impatiently. And after that, whatever Martin did, my heart jumped into my throat. He kissed me lovingly on my forehead in front of everyone, and this was quite surprising for me. My whole body shivered and my cheeks turned red with shame. I was not able to understand what was happening to me. Now he was meeting his grandmother. Then people were quite modern, so they did not mind this. Now he was busy talking to Alistair. Whenever he tried to take him in his lap, he did not want to go in his lap. He was just clinging to me. He felt bad seeing this, but I could not do anything, so I kept sitting quietly. But I was feeling that Martin's eyes kept coming and going on my face again and again. There was something in his eyes which made my heart beat. I was not able to understand what had happened to Martin suddenly, and then he looked at me and said, "Tanvi, come to the room and take off my clothes." I started moving towards the room holding Alistair in my lap, then Martin called me from behind. "Give Alistair to grandmother." I was shocked again that he knew the name of his son. Thinking that maybe his grandmother must have told me, I shook my head and started following him. I was quietly taking out clothes from his wardrobe when he came and stood behind me. A thrill ran through my body again. He put his chin on my shoulder and said, "Your personality has improved a lot since I left, and you have made my son crazy about you. What do you intend to do about me now?" "Tina, madam," and I looked at Abhishek in shock. His changed attitude was enough to explain a lot to me. I stood with my eyes down, and then he suddenly embraced me from behind. This was very surprising for me. I used to think of this man as arrogant and rude, but I was overjoyed to see his loving nature. Slowly Martin's grip on my waist started getting stronger. He said, "Thank you, enough, it will be less," leaving the touch of his lips on my neck. "What you have done for my son, no other woman could have done. The way you took care of my child, you proved that a servant can never take care of a child, and this is what has raised your respect in my heart. I don't know what love is, but what I have been feeling for you for these 1.5 months, I never felt that way for my first wife. She was only interested in my wealth, while you are only interested in my child. Will you accept Tanvi Martin's entry into my life?" Saying this, Martin held me by the shoulder and turned me towards him and extended his hand towards me. My heart started beating fast as he extended his hand towards me. If I had held his hand today, my life would have become very happy, and if I had shaken off his hand, I would have lost a loving person. Already, my heart was in pain after removing Yaman from my life, and this time I did not want to let myself fall prey to any guilt. I held Martin's hand. As soon as I extended my hand, the sparkle in Martin's eyes doubled. He came forward and embraced me in his arms, and I too comfortably hid my head in his broad chest. Peace had descended deep inside me because knowingly or unknowingly I too had fallen in love with Martin. Aman was not my love. My parents got me engaged to Aman, and now I had decided in my mind that Aman is my future life partner. The feelings that I was feeling today by hugging Martin were such feelings that I had never felt before today by hearing the name of Amon. We both had started our life very beautifully. Martin kissed my hands and put a diamond bracelet on it, which had A and T in it. He said, "Tanvi is the symbol of our love. Never separate it from your hands," and I started living a peaceful life with him. But I was surprised that how did he know so many things about Alistair and me? He knew every little thing about how we both sleep, when we eat, what we do and what we wear on which day. Then after about 2 months of our relationship, Martin revealed to me that he had installed a camera in Alistair and my room. He used to watch everything of both of us sitting in Dubai. He had seen how much I took care of Alistair. Martin believed that perhaps even a real mother cannot do as much as I did, and I too love Alistair as much as I would have loved my real mother. So friends, today's story was this. Do tell us how you like the names of Martin and Tina. If you liked it then please like, also subscribe to our channel to listen to a new story every day.